Hello and welcome to the Words Point Podcast. This week's very special guest, his name's Tim. He's in all of my engineering classes, and honestly, I just got to know the guy, but he's a really nice fella, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. Bye. Economics. Tim, would you like to take us through Chapter 1 as I begin the introduction?
Adam, I would love to. So, Chapter 1, Foundations of Engineering Economy. Why engineering economy and time value of money are important? Well, you see, Adam, money makes money.
Money makes money?
Money makes money.
But I was told that trees make money.
Trees do make money. That's why you spend your money on trees.
Oh.
Or whether you invest in the land that the trees exist upon.
So you use money to buy land to buy trees to plant on land to make money that makes money.
You should use the trees to make more trees,
right?
Rather than buying them, because you want as low overhead and as high return as possible.
Is that Chapter 1?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I think I nailed it.
Yeah, good job.
What's the test?
Well, first we gotta go over chapters 2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. And then it'll be like, I don't know, 2 weeks from now, maybe 3 weeks. We'll see.
Okay, yeah. Are we gonna go over the homework problems in class and then have the whole classroom yell at you for having a badly phrased problem and then go like, okay, I will give you bonus point?
No, because I take my time when I make questions.
Okay.
At least I try to. Or, and I'm also the most qualified person to be teaching this class. So,
right.
In the entire campus. So.
In the whole campus.
Yeah, and basically in Wisconsin.
Right.
Too.
Because
I'm from, well, this is my experience. Like,
right.
I've invested.
Well, and you know the cigarette industry.
Yeah.
Isn't that just money?
It is. Yeah. Money making money.
Money making money. No, yeah. I never finished this train of thought before. I always tell my friends, like, paper science, like, metrics. Like, freeness.
Okay. Yes.
And consistency.
Yes.
And basis weight.
Yes.
They all sound like some people that shouldn't have been scientists made up the names. What do we call this? Free the pulpers. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's not what it is. Or like, see, basis weight, shouldn't have been scientists. That's like bold. You can't tell someone you shouldn't be well, you can tell someone you shouldn't be a scientist.
Well, not traditional scientists. I should say that.
Yeah. Yeah, more like, yeah, I guess.
Like,
right.
Let's say they took the career path of, like, operator, and then they got promoted. And then they're like, this is called basis weight. But they're smart.
Hey, but call it what it is, though. And operators probably do that.
Right.
From my experience.
Did you find it... Okay, so for... Also, hi, this is Tim. Hi, this is Tim.
Hi. What?
You're Tim. What's your last name?
Lamoureux. Yes.
Lamoureux.
Or l'amour.
Which means love in French?
The lovers in French.
The lovers.
Or, yeah. Or romantic lover.
Is that your, like, go-to share when... you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
One of them, at least.
Yeah. It's... Well, with girls...
Yeah.
I've got a built-in pickup line in my name, so...
Right. It's a bonus.
Exactly. And, it's... my name has meaning, so I like... And it's interesting, like, when last names were given, like, in the time... I don't know if this, for like, sure, with 100% certainty, but, like... You were given what your profession was.
Right.
Like your last name. Like, so
what does that mean for your profession?
You already know what it means.
Brothel? No. Much?
Maybe. I don't know. That would be interesting.
Right? Have you ever done one of those ancestry things?
No.
No.
So, yeah, don't know. But
I don't know if I believe in them. I did like a free month when I was in like 4th grade.
okay.
And the way they work is they show you resources.
Mhm.
You're supposed to read through them and be like, I accept this or I deny this as my family. Well, whenever it came up with a resource for me, I just hit accept on every single one of them.
Okay.
So it made this huge family tree,
Mhm.
and got to the end and I'm like, I don't know if I believe any of this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did only pay. It was the free version and in 4th grade.
Yeah.
I think now it's they like. I think they use DNA now
Right.
to like map and like so, but you also have to pay for it. I don't know how it works. I wish I knew.
Like
Somehow your genes are unique, and like you must share like certain copy. Like
there's gotta be
depending on how much data you have, you can create a tree to be able to map. Like
they must have had a ton of source data, and then like, has your family been here for 3,000 years or as long as you know for your family history? Okay, we'll say you are German, and then sorted that person as German in their database, and then compared it against other Germans and found like common genome species or features.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they would even need to rely on like source data.
You don't think so?
No, I think you could, like patterns would show up where.
Yeah, how do they relate those?
I don't know. To maybe and then I don't know. Well, because certain genes are selected for based off of your environment.
Right.
So
yeah, that's easy.
There's one method of madness for mapping where people are from based off their genealogy.
It's definitely sad. I don't think that's a good business model to sell people their origins, because once you know once, you never want to. You don't care. Like you're not gonna order the same piss test again. Maybe you'll do like a spit test if they have that, or like more advanced.
True. Once you know, and you have no desire to know more.
Yeah.
But like, that's not. What if it's more valuable to create that data set rather than?
I bet you it is.
Like,
I bet you it definitely is.
Because then they can sell that data. Maybe, I don't know. Theoretically,
and what if they make some connections, like
unless they make a promise to not sell it.
To tie back to like cigarette industry, what if you make connections from like
for the hell? Oh,
like you are more apt to smoke, and you're also more Asian than anybody else.
Yes,
than any other genome.
Right.
And
so there is a health
advertising. You can advertise.
Incentive.
Oh, I was going. You could advertise more towards like Asian people if they're more apt to get addicted to nicotine. Rather than. Well, monetarily.
I mean, economically incentivized, right? But you, and then on the same note though, you could also like determine preconceived health conditions, and so you generate like a health report, like hey, these are things that you might want to stay away from based off your genetics, and I don't know, like it's also fascinating.
What would if you got that back and it said you have to give up this food, what would be the first thing you'd be like, I'll give that up?
The first food to give up?
Yeah.
Like, if I had to give, this is like a hot take, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. There's not. See, there aren't. I can't think of many foods that I don't like. 'Cause there aren't enough foods that I've tried to. Processed food. Boom.
Yeah.
I could give up processed food easily. Yeah. I don't like processed. Well, like, I don't. You like processed foods, but like.
You don't like them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. When you're eating them, it feels amazing.
Good, but
it hits something.
Yes. They are.
When you're hungry and you grab that chip bag and you're like,
The serotonin release from all the carbs. Yes.
But then you finish the whole family-sized chip bag.
Oh, I did that with onion rings this weekend.
Oh my god. That's a lot of onion rings.
It wasn't a family-sized bag. It was only like, I don't know.
Like they're medium? Like
It
not
was
the
like
giants?
small, yeah.
But not the personal.
Right, yeah.
Not the 100 or 230 pack. It was
Yes.
probably like the
I don't know.
850
I can't remember how much it weighed. I think-
calories.
or like ounces, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There probably wasn't much calories.
Do you like onion rings above other chips? I always feel unfulfilled.
Yeah, I like onion rings, yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't really like chips. Like, I don't know. I'm not big on chips.
Yeah.
Like, I prefer pretzels. Pretzels are the go-to snack
That's true.
for me.
I think you
or
can't
like salty
compare.
snack at least.
You can't like. I don't know. They're incomparable.
Pretzels and potato chips.
Yeah. Because pretzels win too easily.
Yeah, I guess if I eat too many potato chips, I feel sick though. And one time I threw up after I ate some potato chips. So.
That's impressive.
I was on a boat. I don't know if that had anything to do with it or no. Well, I wasn't on a boat when I threw up. We were on the river, but then we were out on the land, and I ate the potato chips. I don't know. I'm not like.
That was it.
Yeah, I threw up in front of these people in Gutenberg, Iowa. At the Lock and Dam.
That's good.
I felt better afterwards.
Well, we were going up deer hunting weekend.
Nice.
And we stopped at the gas station before we went up.
Yes.
And I grabbed a bag of dill-flavored sunflower seeds.
Yum. Monosodium glutamate.
Is that what dill flavor is?
No, but that's in dill flavored sunflower seeds.
Okay.
At least if they're David's.
Okay.
I think David's is the...
Is that like good for you, or do I have cancer?
No, I don't know. It's like...
You just know the name?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't... It's probably not good for you.
No.
But you probably don't have cancer.
Okay. That's reassuring. Anyways.
Like, have you ever... It causes inflammation, I'm pretty sure. Like, have you ever heard no MSG?
Yeah.
That's monosodium glutamate.
Interesting.
Yeah. But go on. Sorry.
Yeah. No. I was grabbed these sunflower seeds, and the way I was taught to eat, well, it wasn't really taught. I had an uncle who would just eat the seed whole, just crunch through the shell and swallow the shell and the nut. And so that's how I ate them on the whole car ride up there.
Nice.
And I finished the whole bag. And well, a whole stomach full of sunflower seeds to begin with isn't the best idea. When it's got pointed shells and shit along with it. It was not good. Threw it up.
Oh!
Threw it up.
Did you shit it out too?
Yes. And it was sharp and pointy
and
on
painful.
the way up and out.
Yeah.
Not good.
No.
So I just avoid sunflower seeds. Because I never learned how to eat them normally. And I learned that my method was insufficient.
So do you not like sunflower seeds anymore?
I like them. I like the idea of them. I'll have like a handful and then I go like, I don't want to.
This is too much. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Of course the dill ones too. So do you still like dill flavored? Like, do you like dill flavored chips and stuff?
Dill is amazing.
Yeah.
Dill and vinegar? Like pickles?
Yeah. I enjoy pickling.
Yeah? What's your favorite vegetable to pickle? And while you talk, I'm going to make sure we're recording. I'm being psychotic right now, but I just want to make sure.
You're good.
So go.
Favorite vegetable to pickle? Probably like carrots. Maybe like
Really? Pickled carrots.
Yeah. Like
I do like pickled carrots. No, you're gonna have to go underneath if you want to. Yeah. Come. Oh my god. We just did pickled banana peppers, and they're like homegrown banana
Yum.
peppers.
Nice.
Did them in like little rings. Really
Okay.
good. On sandwiches.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm.
You can't beat a good pickle.
Mm-mm.
Oh. This year...
I wish we pickled more as a society.
Same.
It's really bad for you? Well...
Nah, I mean, if you, like, live pickle, so, like, you can get probiotic, you know.
Yeah,
from
what? What is a live pickle?
Like, you just don't pasteurize your...
Oh.
Like, you don't...
There's no boiling involved?
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
You, like, make a brine and just let it sit. Yeah.
I see, okay.
Which is more... Yeah, it's like how our ancestors would pickle. Maybe. I don't know. It's a fermentation process.
Oh, so it's okay. So it doesn't involve as much of a...
Yeah.
They didn't start with vinegar, probably, in their brine. It probably fermented into vinegar, and they're like, this is good.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. That makes sense. I never really thought of that.
Yeah. So,
they just put a bunch of salt on shit, and they're like, it'd probably be good to eat in like 4 months, right?
Well, that's how, that was the only way you could preserve your food, is if you added a ton of salt. Mm-hmm. Like, at least before, like, refrigeration. Right. Or if you dried it out.
You ever watch Little House on the Prairie? No. There's an episode where they cut the ice during the winter, and then, like, shove it down to the, like, ice box underground for the summertime.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was just, I thought it was so cool, like, how they have, like, these blocks of ice that sit even though it's really hot out.
Yeah. In the, like, underground. That's...
The way
you would never expect that.
Yeah.
Or, like, that's, at least, that is so inconceivable for modern day society.
Yes.
Like...
I don't think we could go back.
I think we could. We are, like, one of the most adaptive species.
Yes. The species could go back. Like, our children would be fine. I think a lot of our current generation and the generations preceding us. I don't know.
Yeah. Depends on who.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Those who would succeed, and those who wouldn't, wouldn't.
I was in quantitative analysis, a chemistry class, which I don't know if you've taken yet.
Yes.
Last
spring.
How did you like it? Did you have Dr. Cole?
I did have Dr. Cole, yes.
Okay, so I was in her class.
Nice. She's babe.
She's really nice.
Yeah.
Very...
She's, like, corny.
Yeah.
Which I like, though.
Typical, like, what you'd expect out of a chemistry professor.
Yes.
And we were just hearing about, like, Milwaukee shutting down after spring break, like, right 2020.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And everybody was like, do you think we'll do it? And I'm like, whatever. And so I was just listening to them while I'm, like, running my experiment, because I was always like, gotta get it done as fast as possible, like, trying to be, like, the fastest.
Yes.
Okay. And at one point they were talking about it, and Stevens Point hadn't released it yet, but it was like pretty much going that way. And then another school did it while we were still in lab, like announced it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know, like, there's not that many like announced cases of this virus so far. And honestly, even if it goes around, I mean, we have too many people on this earth anyways. It's like natural selection.
You see? Okay, go on.
And that was followed by some dirty looks, and then Dr. Cole was not very happy because apparently she has immune deficiency. Yeah. So when we're talking natural selection...
she was like, wow.
That's me.
Then I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
If that happened to me. That's so funny. Okay. That makes me think of when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. Like, I would question, like, man, like, the world's kind of overpopulated. Like, when are we going to have the next plague? I was calling it a plague.
Right.
Pandemic. But,
yeah.
And then, I don't know if I wished it upon us, or I don't think I was that cynical in high school. Maybe.
Yeah.
But no, I was like, man, we need something to
spruce things up a bit.
Yeah. Something to clean up the population. No,
right.
See, that's such a terrible.
It's a bad way of thinking once you remember that like every human being is like unique.
Yes. Yeah.
And has something to them.
Right. Yes. But then it happened as I'm, as I'm moving here, coming from community college, moving out, first time on my own, like during the middle of a pandemic, and like I was like, this is so dumb because I didn't like online classes. Which
online classes, What would you? Yeah, I don't think I retained what I should have either.
Same, or just learned what I could have.
Yeah,
but how much of it falls onto you though, and how much of it falls onto like how it was proctored.
Right.
And there are some people who, will thrive in that environment just because they can do it on their own already, but then there's others that enjoy that human aspect. Yeah.
Well, I personally definitely needed to. Well, we said this earlier. Build motivation.
Right.
But also, if someone else is doing it, then I want to do it as well. It's like a competition type thing.
Yes.
And also,
it's
if
hard.
you know how to do it and you can show someone else, there's some gratification there as well.
Exactly. And that is where you verify that you're learning what is being taught.
Right.
Is when you can teach someone else. Which, as someone who, I would enjoy teaching as something that I did for a career or whatnot.
Right.
I don't know. I've always, until I realized I loved school, after I took a semester off from being in school, then it dawned on me how much I love school.
And what do you like about it so much?
It's the opportunities, really. I mean, you get endless opportunities to meet people and to learn and to collaborate, cross fields, and to create greatness. Really,
yeah.
It encourages others to do what they thought they couldn't do.
Do you ever wish that existed in other places in society? The sense of community that school has?
I mean, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that was kind of a little bit silly, but
Well, yeah. What do you mean?
I always wanted more of a communal, life scenarios. We live in independent houses next to people that we know.
Right.
Kind of.
Right. And yes. Where it's you have to rely on your neighbors, because if you don't, then you won't succeed.
Yeah, and that's kind of what school invites into life, is just that necessary, hey, you better make friends because they might know how to do a problem that you don't.
Exactly, yes.
And they might send you your homework when you're sitting there at 11 o'clock at night going, fuck, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yes.
So, I don't know, I always thought maybe you could have apartment type buildings, but have no such thing as a hallway. It was more all intertwined, and there was more of one kitchen and one dining area, but different rooms.
See, and there are things like that already exist. You just gotta seek them out, though. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, that's a part of learning how you enjoy to live your life.
Right. So summers of 2016 to 2018, I think, I worked at a Boy Scout camp. Mm-hmm. And in that, I mean, it was 7 or 8 weeks of living with a bunch of kids my own age, and there's no one that watched over us. It was impossible. Like, there was obviously other kids that were older, like 18, which now seems ridiculous, but when you're 15, you're like, yeah, you know everything.
Yeah.
And then there's like older people who ran the camp and whatnot, but I learned to really appreciate like that sense of community. Like, we lived in a bunkhouse. Like, you slept next to someone else in their bunk, and all the space you had was a fucking bunk. And the top you put your shit, and on the bottom you slept. Okay. Unless you were one of the weirdos and wanted to sleep on the top bunk. And I don't know, ever since then, I'm like, that brings a lot more. You'd be surprised how much you don't need alone time when you're forced not to have it. But when you do have it, my computer was ringing.
Yes.
When you do have it, I feel like you're more apt to take a part of it. Like,
yeah.
If that makes sense?
It does. Yeah. I, see, like, that's, like, there's truth to that, but I also think best, or feel like I think best when I'm alone, though. Mm-hmm. But maybe that is selfish. Maybe I think most selfish when I'm alone, and it's selfish to want to learn for myself rather than for everyone else.
That could be, but that's probably a degree of selfishness that's healthy. It's not like a greedy. Do you, like, let's say you have a homework assignment to get done, and you have to get it done. Mm-hmm. What's your environment, ideally?
The ideal homework environment? A big desk with lots of space to spread everything out.
Do you have music on?
Sometimes jazz, yeah.
But are the jazz is in like words or no words?
Depends. Yeah, depends. Okay. Like recently, yeah, no words. Like lo-fi, yeah, jazz beats or whatever.
See, I find it so difficult to concentrate with even like. I used to be like that. I used to watch a YouTube video and do homework at the same time.
Yeah.
And then I realized if I turned off the YouTube video, homework took a fifth of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I can't even listen to anything. Like, last night, Bailey was doing a presentation. She's like, I need one more bullet point, and I can't think of it. Mm-hmm. And I was trying to write it, and the music kept on distracting me, like, mid-thought, and I was trying to think of a word, and I couldn't get it, and the music kept on distracting me. I'm like, can you turn off the music, please? And I'm like, sorry, that's aggressive. I can't think right now, though.
And there, I don't know, more, like, yeah, I like jazz. It's soothing, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've always really liked music, so like
what's that offers the question, what do you, let's say you're not studying, do you still listen to jazz? Is that still the go-to?
Recently, yes.
Okay.
Like, yeah. I don't know why, have you ever heard of the artist Potsu? Mm-hmm. He does, yeah, he makes like those, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, to be honest, but
yeah,
this artist makes, like lo-fi jazz beats or whatever.
Interesting.
And I don't know why I've been addicted to it, but it's just, But like, see, that's just recently. Like, I love music, period. Like, all music. Like, you can't, if it's something unique, I like it. You know, but also like pop too, which is usually reiterations of the same thing over and over again. So, like, it's a form of math. I love math too.
Yeah.
Like, and so.
It is really a form of math.
Yeah, which is just as nerdy kind of, but like, that's
I don't know. harmonies make your waves do different things.
Exactly.
When they enter your ear, that's why you feel good. Like,
yes.
Bailey's presentation was on deaf people.
Nice.
And one of the questions was like, she had to do like this follow-up question thing.
Yes.
And she was asking for like questions on like, what is the, like, how does, and I couldn't think of how to phrase it last night either. How does sound travel in the form of what? Or something like that.
Okay.
And I put like a particle, in light,
okay.
and like a bunch of bullshit stuff. And then I'm like, in oscillating waves. And I really want to see what a bunch of education majors like think.
End of answering. Yeah.
Because it would be very interesting.
That would be. Well, if they're in college, they likely have some sort of high school education. Chances are they had some sort of physics along that way.
Possibly.
And so, like, going over that, sound is waves. Mm-hmm. That's like, I feel like you learn that at some point.
Should be pretty basic, right?
Yeah, right. Like in elementary school, maybe, or
right.
Like in middle school, maybe. Or...
I feel like there was a Magic School Bus episode on it.
Probably.
So, I don't know.
That would be interesting to see.
Like I said earlier, it's not different because it is engineering, little meatballs.
Little kids, yes. But it is different.
But it's taught different.
Well, yes, because there's such a... Yeah.
She had to make an artificial bracelet by drawing a circle and doing different colored beads. Mm-hmm. And every, like, bead was representing, like, sexuality and gender and identity and, like, what you like to do for fun. And then the colors represented what those answers were. And then she had to write an essay on that activity.
Okay. Interesting.
In one of her classes.
Okay.
We would never, ever have an activity like that in an engineering class.
No, but do you think
to talk about differences, stark.
Very.
Right.
Yes. Do you think that we would benefit from having an activity like that, though?
I would have so much fun.
I would, too. I
just want something where I can speak and not
do calculations.
Yeah,
same. I wish, like, we don't have icebreakers, or like we don't have the first day of class. In like freshman form, we introduced ourselves and like, oh, what's my name, tell me something interesting about yourself. Like, we didn't do that for any of the classes that we had this semester. No. Which, like, that helps. If you do that the first day, that helps create, at least, well, we did it in Gong's class one day.
The first one.
Yeah, fluid mechanics and hydraulics. But we didn't do it in engineering economics. And we didn't do it in wooden pulp and tech with Dr. B. And we didn't do it in PChem either. Which, doing that helps create that communal feeling, though. And gives you the opportunity to make friends. But I guess we're expected at this point to be able to do that on our own already.
Yeah, but do you really need the time of one class period? Couldn't you give that up to maybe, like, help your students feel a sense of community? But
true.
Then again, you have to come up with the right icebreaker because...
True, because...
I'm not entertaining some bullshit, like...
Yes, that too. I was gonna say, would your students, like, be receptive of it too, though? Yeah. Which,
like, if they...
Education's weird, man.
It is. It's interesting, though. I always wish that was one of the plans. Put it that way.
What?
Go to school to be an education.
Really?
Teacher. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I taught kids at camp, like, for 3 years. I worked in outdoor skills, and I taught pioneering, which is, like, lashing and tying knots. And then I taught some wilderness survival class. And then I moved to the sustainability department, and I taught gardening and sustainability merit badge for the next 2 years.
Nice. And
ran the camp garden. But I enjoyed, like, we had requirements that we had to cover. I got to, like, use a lesson plan and just have fun with the kids. And one of them, it was like a net It was like your carbon net or something like that.
Yes.
And we like traced an item and then like went all different ways and how it could have expelled carbon, CO2
cool.
on its way.
Nice.
Fun. Like that's fun.
That is really fun.
And you get to like go, and then we went over like renewable energy sources, and I was like, remember the carbon net? Well, someone has to make those windmills. Like they don't make themselves or turbines, so
yes,
like you got to remember that, and that's teaching that I wish I had.
Yes,
that now these kids have. Maybe if they're paying attention, they might be picking their nose. I don't care. Like can't control that.
Even if it goes in one ear and out the other, it still resonated at some point in the middle, in between. So
right.
Maybe
they heard like big trucks are bad, and they're like, I do like a good big truck.
Maybe. Hey, I used to also work with kids.
How so?
Like in my hometown, we have like a before and after school like daycare program for the elementary schools. And so during community college, in between tutoring at the community college, that was something else I did. And I started that in high school though, which was like a really good opportunity to like just. I didn't want to work in food. Yeah. And as, someone who's 16 that wants a job, or 17.
There's not many options.
Right. So, and my sister worked there, so I had a way in already, too.
That's nice. So you enjoyed that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a huge learning experience. And kids just put perspective on life. Like, I love kids.
I can always, I don't know how to phrase this, but I always try to like explain things to kids.
Same.
Like instead of just going, that's the way it is, because I'm always so like questioning everything.
Exactly.
So I just want like, if you want to know why that's bad, I'll explain it to you.
Yes.
Like, here it is.
Yes. That is, and like, that's funny. Some of my coworkers, they would be like, I don't know, ask Glamero.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah, because there's an explanation for everything. Like, there's reasons for why things are the way they are. But if you don't, like, it's...
Then the kids get, like, a little glassy-eyed, and they're like, I don't know what he's saying. I should have never asked. This is more torture than any punishment.
Yes. One of the activities we would do that was like I used it for a social problems class or whatever was so we would go on field trips over the summer. It's like a full-time deal over the summer. Like they could be there from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. which is yeah
that's a long day for a
kid. Yes. But not all the kids would. So we would go on field trips like that's periodically, but they had to, like their parents would usually have to pay, whatever the cost of taking the bus was or whatever.
Yeah.
And so usually, like, this is a public program, so we had public funding, so we had low-income kids too.
Right.
At this program.
Right.
And, usually they would not get the opportunity to go on all the field trips or whatever. And so, while they, like, during those times, there was, like, a consistent group of kids staying behind. And so one of the, like, I would also stay behind with them for one summer, I don't know, a couple weeks. And I got this, like, kit to do all sorts of different chemistry experiments with them.
Yeah. And
so we had, my last summer there, we kept lab journals, and I tried to teach them how to, like, take observations and, like...
That's pretty good.
We lit things on fire. And, like, for 4th of July, we burned different firework materials to see, like, copper burns blue.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at the fireworks this weekend,
you can be like, that has copper in it, Mom.
Exactly.
And then their mom goes, I didn't know that, but shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that, I love doing that.
Yeah.
Like, the opportunity to teach is so, I don't know, our kids, like, they need to learn.
They need to learn from someone, and there's a... Do you ever notice that it's a loose tendency that, like, little kids gravitate more towards, like, men when they, like, want, like, from a this will be fun experience? I don't know why that is. I don't care why that is, but I'm glad that is. because it makes it a lot, like, it's a lot of enjoyment. They're so happy and they're like, oh, this will be good. And I'm like, yes, this will be good.
Yes.
Get pumped.
Maybe it's because men are better at enjoying life than women. No, I don't know.
I don't know.
No, I don't know. I haven't necessarily noticed that. No.
Really?
Yeah.
That could be incorrect.
I know, at least from my, like, experience, like, certain kids would gravitate towards certain individuals, who they got along with, as far as, like, teachers, and, like, when they wanted to go do something that they enjoyed, like, they would stick by a certain teacher because they knew they were going to do something that they enjoyed, or, you know?
Yeah. You know what's...
There's this personality alignment.
Yeah, that's, for sure. Because, first off, this is bonkers that elementary teachers have these same kids for all of the time. You know? Like, you have one teacher for your whole day.
For the whole year.
And then for the whole year.
Yeah.
That's wild. Because...
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
College, middle school, high school, different.
Do you think there's a better way?
Well, what I was going to say is, like, what if you get stuck with that teacher and your personalities don't align and you're not as much of a fan? Is there a benefit for that age of kids to be like, get used to it? You're not going to like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Or would it be better if, like, you had 3 teachers in that 3rd grade and the kids, like, there's, like, a week where you guys all kind of work together and then you get to pick your own classes?
At what, like, age do you draw that line?
Right. I don't know.
Like, I feel like currently society does that in middle school, at least.
Yes.
Yeah. And, yeah.
Middle school-ish. Remember, I don't know how it was for you, but at least when they were like, hey, you get to pick your classes next year. Yeah, I got to pick, like, 2 things.
Yeah, that's how
Congrats.
it was. Yeah. That's how it was.
And even in high school, it was still, like, you get to pick, like, 2 things. Yeah. I mean... You got to take a math. You got to take a English.
Right. Like, see, and this is something we can learn from, like, how other education systems across the world operate. Because, like, our public education system is, like, it doesn't compete against others until you get to college.
Yeah, that's where United States, like, catches up.
Yeah.
Is like...
even gets ahead.
Yeah.
So, that's, like, not... That's not fair to our kids.
No.
Compared to...
other kids.
Yeah, like... So, what are they doing differently? I don't know. It would be...
Good question.
Yeah, like, gotta talk to...
I know, because I took German in high school, and we studied their education system, is that in, like, 8th grade, you get to choose whether or not you go to the workforce or higher education.
Yes.
And you do, like, 2 years of high school if you go to the workforce, and it's more like internship-y, learning a trade, and then the rest go into higher education.
Okay.
I don't know if that's... I don't know if that's really, like, a good way to do it or a bad way to do it, but...
Neither do I. See, yeah. That's just it's an interesting way to do it.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Tim.
Bailey, Tim.
Nice to meet you, Bailey.
Good.
I'll try to keep this going.
Do you think you could position the camera in a way that it wouldn't bother if you shut the door?
Do you want me to shut the door?
Sure.
Okay.
That way
Stop
you don't
here.
have to be silent. Have you decided if you wanted to go to dinner tonight?
No, I'm really hungry right now.
You promised me, but I'll rearrange the camera.
I didn't promise. I think that's good.
Thank you.
Well, all right. No, I don't know if Germany's better.
Same.
I don't know.
Well, how does their? It would be interesting to know how their I don't know, standardized testing or how whatever metric is used to measure their education system versus ours.
Oh, right. Like, how do you even...
Before college or, before
I
higher
feel like it
ed.
almost has to be, like, your economic output per capita or something like that. Because it's not really how you behave. If the goal of education is to make you, like, a functioning member of society, then it should be how your society behaves.
Is that the goal of education?
Maybe.
I don't know. What is the goal of education?
It sounds so bleak when you describe it as like, well, it's just to make you another worker bee. Like,
true, right?
But isn't it like we can't all be perfect and special?
Yeah,
because that wouldn't work.
We do live in a society.
We do be living in a society.
That does sound very bleak, but I mean that is kind of the reality of the matter, and I guess we're lacking in that, but why though?
Why?
Why does America lack? Is it because it's underfunded? You can't just throw money at problems and expect the money to solve it.
Right, exactly. That's where a lot of issues with running things through like big governance.
Yeah,
that's where that comes in. Like you can have a lot of money. What does it do?
Yeah,
if you're not spending it first off correctly, like, and then you're also not like, how do you know that money's doing shit if you put it into a program?
Right.
That's why charities are always weird, right? Like charities are like, I don't know what you are.
So, do you think churches are weird too? Then
they're a little weird. Where's that money go? Yeah. Sometimes they have like open books though, like where you can like look at how they spend their money. Like I know that the church that I grew up in had that where they like had their books and they're like, congregation, you'd give us a lot of money. Here's how we spend it.
Nice.
That's cool.
I think 501(c)(3).
What?
That's like that's the, I don't know. It's a term for like a legal charity.
Okay.
Like a 501(c)(3).
Okay.
Charity organization. It's a legal term. I think they have to do the same thing though.
Have an open book.
Yeah. Kind of like a corporation. It's treated very much like a corporation.
Right.
Just, tax deductible.
Yeah, they don't have to pay taxes.
Except for
So.
how they use it or, like everyone else.
Yeah. Like a citizen, not a business. Taxes, right? That's how it works?
Yeah.
Kind of.
I think.
How do we get here?
Well, how, like, school is underfunded and...
Right. Does money solve that problem?
Yeah.
No.
But it creates opportunity. And within those organizations, they also create opportunity. So it's all about... I don't know. See, I say this all the time. It's about what you put in, school.
Yeah.
You could, elementary. See, but it's not what you, well, okay, from the the decision makers of who proctors public schooling, or and how they proctor it.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you put into it is what you get out. So clearly, we're not putting in the same inputs as they are in other countries to create the outputs that we get.
Right.
And so, yeah, there's that differential, and closing that differential could benefit someone.
All of us, maybe.
Yes, if we have smarter, better people, maybe not smarter, but if we
it's the whole rate of change thing. As we're getting smarter, we're like, this is great. But once we stop getting smarter, we're just smarter. Then it's the same.
Yeah, as it is everywhere else. And
Yep.
then we live in a monoculture.
That's the way everything is.
Like a mono-educational system.
Well, I always wanted, I never knew of a case study where you just take a child and you're like, you're getting so good at math over your lifetime. It's going to be nuts. And they teach them, bare minimum, other, more in-depth, chemistry. You don't know all that. You don't know, how to write a 5-page or 5-paragraph essay. You know how to write, but that's because you have to know how to do that. You just made this little child be a prodigy in this one very specific area. Is that bad for the individual?
From a social, societal perspective, and probably emotional perspective, yes.
Yes, right?
Probably bad.
But if
for
we're talking
that individual, the child?
Yes.
Yeah.
But if we're talking societal benefit, could be a big positive.
And private schools do exist where,
it's kind of just that.
I don't know if it's just that, but I know there's more leeway with what you do. And
yeah. I mean, I had a cousin who went to a dance school.
Okay.
Who spent 3 hours of his day dancing.
Nice.
Where does that come out of your education? That obviously takes time. You're only at school for a finite hour.
Right.
So that came out of some class that he doesn't know now.
True. Yeah.
Is that reflected as a worse personality?
Or he's just a better dancer.
Right. But does that make him more happy because when he's in his free time he can dance?
Does he still dance?
Yes. Went to college for it.
Oh,
He's
really?
going to college for it. He drunk FaceTime with me the other weekend.
Nice.
Which is freshman vibes in a way.
Yeah.
I get it.
Wait, is he a freshman?
Yeah. He's going to Pittsburgh.
Interesting.
I think. Yeah, probably. From Denver.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite the transition.
Yeah. So.
That's Pittsburgh. That's Pennsylvania. Is that by Boston?
I think so.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, everything's close over there.
Right.
Everything's within a 2-hour train ride. They don't even need cars.
Yeah, true.
Have you traveled there?
Not, yeah, I don't, not to Pittsburgh particularly.
But
to Pennsylvania, yes. Okay. And, yes. So, in the semester that I did not attend school.
Right.
I went to Hawaii and New York.
Yes. You explained this to me.
Yes, and so we drove to New York, me and 5 other friends, and we drove through Pennsylvania, and man, that's a beautiful state.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's rolling hills. It reminds me a lot of the Driftless area in southwest Wisconsin. Kinda. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Rolling hills.
Cool. Elevation change.
Exactly, yes.
Feels good.
It's baby mountains, so.
Yeah.
Or maybe not baby mountains, but granddad mountains. Old people, they lose their...
They lose their height, they shrunk back down.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Back in my day.
So, but, it would be cool to go to Boston.
Right.
And yeah, Pittsburgh. I think they gotta be right by each other. I don't know.
So is that like a bucket list thing? Or do you have a better destination in mind?
Yeah, Geneva in Sweden. Where like
I feel like this is an expensive vacationing spot.
probably.
Yeah.
But it's like the Center for Education and like the Center for World Meeting.
Is that in Sweden or Switzerland?
Maybe it's Switzerland and you brought
I know like
the Geneva Commons.
Yeah, the Genevan Convention.
The Geneva Accord.
Which one?
I don't know.
The one that ended the war.
I'm bad at history.
Really?
Kinda, yeah.
Well, if you ever want to listen to a good history podcast, it's called Hardcore History with Dan Carlin.
I've heard of this before.
Yeah?
I haven't listened to it, though.
It's good.
Yeah?
I used to work in a sewing room over a summer.
A sewing room?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Mentally taxing. But I listened to podcasts my whole day.
Yes.
Which is probably what inspired me to make this.
Nice.
But, he has a World War I podcast series that is 6 episodes long. That's free.
Nice.
Otherwise, he charges like $1 for a podcast, which is, who cares?
Yeah.
And they're worth that. And every podcast in that series is probably like 5 hours long. So for 1 week, I just learned about World War I. And it was actually amazing because I felt like I was actually educating myself while doing a very mindless task.
That's always a good feeling when you can, benefit in more than one ways for what you're doing.
But I would suggest that you'd be surprised how much you don't know about World War I. It also made me cry at one point.
Really?
Yeah. It actually wasn't the World War I one, but it was like prequel to Supernova in the East or something like that. And it was talking about like before dropping the bombs on Japan, and
yes,
I think it was this. Some Japanese guy, an American soldier. This is from like American Soldier Diary. He cornered the Japanese guy and was gonna bayonet him because he didn't have any bullets. And the Japanese guy was like, wait, whatever. Like, got him to stop, and then like reached in his pocket and like pulled out like a picture of his family and like, don't. And the American like let him be. But the reality of the situation is he was probably killed for not killing himself. And the Americans, because that's what Japanese were ordered to do during that war. It was just devastating. Like, I mentally was probably taxed from like working in a sewing room and not getting enough sleep and like investing too much of my life energy into these podcasts. But
that's intense, though.
Right. That human experience is something that I never want to see.
I have to go through.
Or be in,
Yeah. I've never cried from listening to a podcast before.
It's empowering.
It is. Hey, you probably felt better afterwards.
I did. Probably.
Maybe.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. Like, we don't get to cry enough in today's day and age.
You could cry sometimes.
Yes.
Establishes a lot of feelings, just flushes the system.
Exactly.
I do like a good cry.
Yeah. So, Adam, what's the... You're asking me, like, how do I do my homework? But
yeah,
like, what's your... This question has been inspired from that. What's your optimized day? Like, do you ever think about that?
Like, what would be my optimal day?
Yeah. Like, do you try to optimize your days?
Oh, yes.
How do you do that?
Well, my mornings are what I allow myself to, like, relax. Which is normally not good for optimization, but I wake up relatively early.
What time?
Recently, 6
Yes.
time. When I was working at KC, it was 5:30.
Nice.
And then during the mornings, I'm pretty, like, it takes me forever to get mentally awake, so I, like, watch YouTube, eat breakfast, just relax,
Okay.
and then shower if that's necessary.
What's for breakfast?
And then, like, on my favorite day, or on a typical day?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Favorite day? If right now, biscuits and gravy sounds so good, but on, like, a typical day, it's probably, like, toast with, like, almond butter, or...
Ooh.
Bagel or some cereal, something really quick.
Yes.
I do like eggs, but they normally take a little bit too much. Okay, then I shower, and then I normally like to work on stuff. If I'm talking about, like, favorite day, I'm, like, doing, like, crap, like casting metal, or
yes,
I'm working on 3D printing some new idea that I had. Progressing my life in some way.
Yes.
That I'll never know if it'll work or not.
Productivity.
Yes. But if
your
we're
own,
talking about the
your own productivity rather than society's. But my productivity doesn't look like, hey, I gotta go shopping and maybe we'll stop at the farmer's market. That's not my productivity. Yes.
I enjoy those days once every while.
Yes. Okay.
Like hammocking, I'm not as much of a fan of, because I just feel the absence of productivity, and that makes me scared.
Have you ever considered reading while hammocking?
I have lost the ability to focus and read at the same time.
Really?
Which means I'll read a whole page, and mentally I'll be thinking about something else, and I'll get to the end of the page. Interesting. And I go, I don't know what I just read. Yes. And then I get annoyed, and I go, like, well, that half an hour I made it through the chapter. That's good.
Okay.
But we're talking typical day.
Yes.
At least right now, it's like get maybe like a 3D print going before school, and then hit the bus, get to school. I'll work on homework for class, and in between classes when I have time. Yes. Yes. That way, when I get home, maybe I'll go on a run, eat supper, make sure I finish with homework.
What's for supper?
What's for supper? Something that's, I don't know. Like, we made a roast in a crock pot this week. Yes. This is pretty good. It's actually very good. Do you have, like, a favorite meal? Like your birthday dinner? I like noodles, and well, my mom always made tortellini soup, which is not extravagant. It's just feta cheese tortellini and some chicken broth. Yum. And it's delicious. Yeah. And I love it. And she always thinks it's so, like, weird. Like, why do you stupidest meal? Because feta equals more better. Feta's so good. Yes. Nice. So I suppose that's what I would consider my favorite meal. But I eat a lot of food just for subsistence and not as much for the passion of eating. What? Okay. I like the flavors when they're in my mouth, but I don't take the time to appreciate them. Put it that way. Fair. I think I could be a speed eater if I tried my hardest. Really? Yeah. There's an evolutionary advantage to that. Yeah. Yeah. And there's an evolutionary disadvantage nowadays, because it's a good way to get fat. Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, at one point there was. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. At least there's a reason why. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Right. At least it's like probably genetic, something like that. Yeah. Do you think natural selection is completely lost? Completely lost on the human race? Like, have we beat natural selection? Fuck no, absolutely not. I mean, we can do what we can against it, but as soon as we think we have a hold on it, we're just gonna get, like... pandemicked? Yeah, or, like, artificial intelligence will, like,
I don't know. The future will be scary. We live in the future already, and it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know. The pandemic has created this feeling of tribalism, or at least further expanded this feeling of tribalism, and so I don't know. Personally, I feel like that there will be tribes that succeed and exist into the long-term future, and there will be tribes that don't. Yeah. So, like, what are you doing to, what
do we do right now?
Right.
When there is no...
Yeah.
I don't know. Try to get rid of the tribe, probably. Maybe?
Yeah, and make it, like, open for everyone to be in, or at least maybe not get rid of, I don't know, maybe not get rid of the tribe, but just create the opportunity for everyone to be in the tribe.
There you go.
But
maybe
that's hard though.
Yeah,
because not everyone wants to be in the tribe, so they will actively not seek that,
and actively be in a tribe against that tribe.
Exactly. Yeah. Which, yeah, it's a very interesting time we live in. Would you put would you put a Neuralink in your brain? No. Okay.
No. I would not.
Yeah.
I just fear of loss of control over my own life.
Do you think you're in control of your own life already?
I like to think so. Or I'm striving to be in control of my life someday.
Okay.
And I that's why I do everything that I do. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe these are taking moments where I have 0% chance to do something good with my life and making them into 0.01% chances. If that compounded over how many days you live.
Right.
Eventually you're striking something. It might be lead, it might be gold.
True.
Maybe you can turn that lead into lead oxide and it looks like gold and make a bunch of money. I don't know.
You make good points.
Huh?
We are products of our environment, though, which like makes me question whether we are able to act under
our own
free will, or we are just I don't know. We are predetermined to do what we do.
We had source code. There's people who acted upon that when it was still malleable. And now we're starting to get solidified as who we are as individuals. But none of that was your own input. It was all events caused by other people's inputs.
Yes.
I don't know. Does it matter?
No.
I always use that argument whenever, like, me and my parents would have a disagreement or something of the sort. And I was like, how do you not understand where I'm coming from? You made me. Like, you made everything about me. You made most of my biases and my ignorances.
Yes.
And as well as the good things. Like, what don't you understand right now?
Because
turns out argument does not work.
When you say it, does it matter? Or that argument?
That argument towards, like...
Yes. Like, when
your parent is really mad, and you use that argument, doesn't affect anything.
Yeah.
You're still really mad.
They ask you the same question, does it matter?
Does it matter? No. But maybe you act that way, and they understand that they made you that way, but the only way to fix the way that you acted is by punishing you in the way that they would punish you if they assume that you're under control of your own actions and not what they've created. So they need to do that punishment. They have to continue under that other assumption. Just to result in what? Some human being who does drugs too often and ends up dying in a ditch at the age of 32? Or someone who is a CEO of like a Fortune 500 company and ends up killing himself at 63? Like,
yeah.
Or a middle-aged man who lives his full life out in like a suburbia somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we do have free will.
Maybe.
It's...
Yeah.
My mind is fogged.
That's fine. We've been recording for long enough. So what I do after, at the end of every episode is I ask my guests, do you have any closing remarks?
Yes. Oh.
So,
Okay.
Do you have any closing remarks?
Closing remarks? Oh, God.
And these normally range from like a variety of things. So
yeah.
do whatever you want.
My closing remarks are, be active. Get 60 minutes of play a day. NFL plays 60. They're sharing it for a reason. You'll feel better about yourself.
Right.
And then, thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure you'll be back. Don't worry about it.
And, I thank everyone who's ever thank everyone who's ever, gotten the opportunity to exist on this floating rock that is flying at whatever speed we're flying at through the middle of space. We're all here together, so
might as well get
fuck off with the ego.
Let's get down to business.
Exactly.
Kill the Huns.
Kill the Huns.
Isn't that the song from
Mulan?
Mulan?
Let's get down to business.
And defeat. Yeah, it feels a little too aggressive for
Huns.
Disney. Alright. Thanks for